Why aren't you getting any reps with the ones at any point?
Not my place, to answer. It's not in my control. So I'm not even going to think about that or have that even in my thought process of why it is. Like, there's a lot of people that want to have the opportunity to be at this level, and I'm here, and I'm thankful to have the opportunity. So whenever that is, it is.
He was never supposed to take the field. Not like this. Not under the lights. Not with the entire NFL watching. When the Cleveland Browns drafted Shedeur Sanders, it wasn't to make him a star. It was to shut people up, to check a box, to quiet the noise. They stuck him at QB4, behind washed-up vets and injury-prone backups. No reps, no spotlight, no chance. But now, chaos has cleared the path. The veterans are sidelined, the excuses are gone, and the one quarterback they tried to hide is the only one left standing. This Friday night, Shedeur Sanders isn't just starting a preseason game. He's stepping into a moment that could flip the Browns' entire future upside down. And what happens next might be the biggest shock of the NFL season.
If you'd have told me, so you picked him on Saturday, right? Friday night driving home, y'all are going to pick Shedeur, I would say that's not happening. But we had a conversation early that morning, and then we had a conversation later that day. I think we had the right people involved in the conversation. At the end of the day, that's Andrew Berry's call. Andrew made the call to pick Shedeur. Just like who's going to start or what play we're going to call is Kevin's call. But that's Andrew's call. He made the call.
Let's get one thing straight. This was never part of the Browns' master plan. They didn't draft Shedeur Sanders to lead the team. They didn't even draft him to compete. He was supposed to sit quietly at the bottom of the depth chart, buried behind a washed-up Super Bowl relic, an injury-prone flameout, and a college star who looked good on paper. But then everything went sideways. Joe Flacco? Out. Kenny Pickett? Sidelined. Dillon Gabriel? Hurt and overwhelmed. One by one, the names ahead of Shedeur dropped like dominoes, and suddenly, the guy they tried to ignore was the only healthy quarterback left standing. Now the Browns are forced to do the one thing they never wanted: start Shedeur Sanders in their preseason opener against the Carolina Panthers. And this isn't just a symbolic start. This is the NFL's Friday night headliner. A nationally televised game, a live audience, and all eyes on the rookie they tried to hide. Make no mistake, this isn't strategy. It's survival. The Browns didn't choose Shedeur. Fate shoved him to the front of the line. And if he delivers under the lights, there's no turning back. From the moment his name was called, the writing was already on the wall. Shedeur Sanders wasn't drafted to be a star. He was drafted to be silenced. A PR move. A headline smoother. The Browns didn't see a future leader. They saw a famous last name and a way to keep the media off their back. Need proof? Look no further than Browns owner Jimmy Haslam. Just weeks after the pick, Haslam publicly backpedaled, claiming he had nothing to do with drafting Shedeur. That wasn't a casual comment, it was a loaded message, a disapproval broadcast to the entire league. The Browns wanted everyone to know this wasn't their guy. So they buried him. Behind Kenny Pickett, whose career is barely holding on. Behind Dillon Gabriel, who's still adjusting to NFL speed. And behind Joe Flacco, who's closer to retirement than relevance. They threw Shedeur into the shadows, slapped a QB4 label on him, and hoped the noise would fade. But the truth doesn't stay buried for long. Now, the player they treated like a marketing stunt is stepping into the spotlight they tried to keep him from. And if he shines, their entire narrative collapses. Look at the Browns' quarterback depth chart, and you'd think it was a comedy sketch. At the top, Joe Flacco. A 40-year-old statue living off a Super Bowl ring from over a decade ago. He's slower than a dial-up connection and one hit away from a broadcast booth. Yet somehow, he's listed as Q-Bone. Next up, Kenny Pickett, a Pittsburgh castoff known more for injuries than progress. He hasn't even practiced since late July, but still holds a spot above Shedeur. Then there's Dillon Gabriel. Electric in college? Sure, but this is the NFL. The pressure's real, the hits are harder. And word out of camp, he's already unraveling. Undersized, off-target, and clearly not ready. And just when it looked like Shedeur would finally get his shot by default, the Browns pulled a last-minute move. They signed Tyler Huntley. Coincidence? Not a chance. This wasn't about adding depth, this was about control. Another body to eat up reps, to stall the inevitable. The Browns aren't building a quarterback room, they're building a wall. And the only reason Shedeur's getting a shot now is because that wall is starting to crack. 5.0 While the other quarterbacks were getting first-team reps and headline coverage, Shedeur Sanders was stuck in football purgatory. Scout team duty, running fake plays, mimicking opposing QBs in practice while the real offense took shape without him. No timing with the starters, no chemistry, no protection. And still, he made noise. Receivers started whispering about his ball placement. Coaches noticed the poise. Even defenders grudgingly admitted he was sharper than they expected. But none of that mattered, because in the Browns system, talent wasn't enough. Not when you weren't the chosen one. Not when your name carried the weight of a famous father and a media circus they didn't want. So Shedeur stayed buried, treated like a background actor in someone else's script. Every time he made a great throw, they chalked it up to luck. Every mistake was magnified. This wasn't development, it was damage control. But now, with the preseason opener looming, the same player they tried to sideline is walking into the spotlight. And here's the part they didn't plan for. Shedeur didn't just survive the politics. He learned from it. And when he takes that field Friday night, he won't just be playing football. He'll be making a statement. Friday night isn't just a preseason opener. It's a pressure cooker. For Shedeur Sanders, this isn't about shaking off rust or getting his feet wet. This is a once-in-a-lifetime audition with the entire NFL watching. Every throw, every read, every snap under the lights on national television is a chance to shatter the box they tried to keep him in. Because once the game starts, the politics stop. Stats speak louder than speculation. And if Shedeur shines, there's no spinning it. The Browns can't walk it back. They can't say he's not ready if he lights up the Panthers' defense. They can't hide behind depth charts and veteran loyalty if the rookie starts carving up the field with precision and poise. But here's the twist. He won't be playing with the first-team offense. No top-tier receivers, no familiar rhythm, no safety net. It's the hardest possible test and the biggest possible reward. Because if Shedeur delivers with backups, with no reps, with everything stacked against him, the Browns won't just have a quarterback performance to evaluate. They'll have a quarterback problem. And the entire league will be watching to see if Cleveland finally wakes up or digs itself into even deeper chaos. Let's not play dumb. The Browns didn't bring in Tyler Huntley last minute to help with reps. They brought him in to stall a breakout. Because deep down, they know what's coming. If Shedeur Sanders gets a full half of football and delivers even a glimpse of what he's shown in camp-accurate passes, calm under pressure, command in the huddle, it's over. The fans start asking questions. The media starts circling. The locker room starts shifting. That's the smoke Cleveland wants to avoid. So, they throw in Huntley. A capable backup, sure, but not a franchise QB. Not someone who moves the needle. What he is, though, is safe. He won't challenge the hierarchy. He won't create controversy. He's just enough of a distraction to muddy the waters if Shedeur starts cooking. It's not about competition. It's about containment. But here's the part they didn't see coming. Shedeur doesn't need a full half. He doesn't need perfect conditions. He just needs a window. One drive, one touchdown, one flash of brilliance. And suddenly, that quiet rookie they tried to bury becomes a runaway firestorm they can't contain. Because the Browns aren't afraid Shedeur will fail. They're afraid he'll succeed. This isn't just a quarterback battle. It's a war over identity, respect, and recognition. Shedeur Sanders has never been judged fairly. From the moment he entered the league, he wasn't seen as a legitimate QB. He was Dion's son. A product of hype, a media creation, a marketing tool. And the deeper truth? There are people in NFL circles who didn't want him to succeed because of that. Because he challenged the old-school blueprint. Because his swagger didn't come with their stamp of approval. From Jackson State to Colorado, Shedeur fought every step of the way against low expectations, coded criticism, and a system that didn't want to believe a young, black quarterback with confidence and charisma could also be elite. Now, he's here, in the league, in the moment. And for the first time, they can't control the narrative. Because when Shedeur steps on that field, he's not just playing for himself. He's playing for everyone who's ever been told they were too flashy, too loud, too different to lead. He's playing for every overlooked kid with nothing but talent and heart. And if he delivers, it won't just be a win on the scoreboard. It'll be a win for the culture. Once Shedeur Sanders takes the field and delivers, there's no resetting the clock. You can't unsee a poised rookie slicing up an NFL defense. You can't pretend Joe Flacco is the future when he's throwing ducks from the sideline. You can't justify Kenny Pickett's potential while Shedeur puts together clean drives like a seasoned vet. This isn't college anymore. It's not about draft status, hype, or press conferences. It's about production. And once Shedeur produces, once the fans see it, once the media clips it, once the locker room feels it, the Browns lose their grip on the narrative. They can't bury him again. They can't point to inexperience or spin stories about learning curves. That window closes the second he performs under pressure. And here's what makes it worse for them. Shedeur's not begging for approval. He's not waiting for permission. He's been ready. The Browns had every chance to develop him quietly, to nurture his growth, to lean into his upside. But they chose politics over preparation, image over impact. Now they've cornered themselves. Because if Shedeur Sanders shows out on Friday, the Browns won't just have a quarterback controversy. They'll have a full-blown quarterback revolution.